So I think like I just wanna like answer your first part of the question, right? And I think so like for the longest time ever, I have had this thing of like finding a sound, right? Like every time I'll be with the producer or my friends even in general, like, yeah, bro, this is dope, but like what's your sound? Like, you know? And I actually realized like later on that I don't have a sound. Like my sound is world music and I create as I feel through the period that I'm going in, you know what I'm saying? So I also think when I'm looking at it, it's also very nice for the fans, because even right now we're talking about the oversaturation of music. Like the fans get to never know what to actually expect. So it's either Afro pop, you can get rap, you can get on a singing joint. It's so many different stuff happening at the same time, you know. And going to the second part of your question, I don't, you know, also with features, I don't really like plan who I would want to feature, because I always think like, even I've given up that thought and let like the universe just surprise me, like walk into rooms, you end up like, how did that happen? But I think one person that I would definitely like, and I'm still looking forward to featuring and working on music with, not even one person, it would be 3 people. Two of them are local, so it would be Sjava and Msaki, and then internationally it would be Kendrick Lamar. And I'm gonna get all these features, I'm telling you, 100%. My music could be all over the place, right, in terms of sound, but it has one message also, because most of the time my music is even from Stay Down to Blessed, right? Stay Down, I made Stay Down also like when I think I was fresh out of high school, and I was also like always like telling my friends also the same thing, that we gotta have hope in everything we're doing, because if you're faithful that something is gonna happen, at least like you're not just standing on like a no pager where you could fall off anytime. Like you at least have the faith that, you know, if we keep going and keep working this hard, we're gonna achieve something. So most of the time in my music, I try to keep that message, the hope, and instill the faith, like even in anybody just listening. Like could be fun or whatever the case may be, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of faith and hope that I wanna instill within my music and my lyrics. Like, I don't think I release enough music. That's the only problem. Because every time I'm reading like comments or whatever the case may be, and which is also something I try to keep my head out of, but whenever I'm doing that, they're like, yo, bro, come on, like come on, bro. So I really feel like, you know, that's something that I'm also working on this year as well, trying to like make more music and release more music and collaborate more and whatever the case may be. But I think it's nothing but being loved, you know? It's nothing but, it's more exciting because if every song that we release, every visual that we release, people are responding it in that way, it really shows that there's a lot to happen in the future. So I really feel like there's a lot of good feedback that we've been getting, so yeah. Like in the past year, there's quite like a couple of them, but it'll be going to London. I went to London last year, October. That was crazy, because I used to be like young and think about just traveling out the country or whatever the case may be, but that was crazy to get to a point where you're literally outside the country, like you're 11 hours away from home, and like, you know, I even had to, you know, when you go to your Apple Music, your iPhone, right, and you go to your map and you zoom in and you see how far you are from home, I was like, that's crazy. Like, I had to really feel like that was one of those moments. Like, and I think, you know, there's a lot of those moments that are gonna happen, but for me, that was just one of those life-changing moments, for real. So like, So Far So Great was, I always say it's a staple to my emotions at the time, because as I'm saying, like, there were so many things in the past year that happened to me as a person and to my career that shaped and changed me, right? And taught me a lot. So in creation of the project, right, I was also in that state. I was very grateful. Like, I was very mindful of the things that are also going on. Like, I also paid so much attention to my emotions. So like, there's tracks like Blessed, which also speak on gratitude itself. There's also songs where I speak on, like, By My Side. I also reflect on like my past relationships and how, you know, I was able to, like, I mean, from a communication perspective, and how I can see myself as a problem within relationships that I've been through, and how I can also fix myself. Those educational points just from emotion, that's what I put down to So Far So Great, from like every song, basically putting it out, like rolling it out. So yeah, like So Far So Great was just a staple in my emotion in my career. I think, like, for me, that was That was crazy because, as I said, like I went to London last year. I was going for a songwriting camp, and I met her there. So she was one of the first people I worked with, like at the camp. So every day was scheduled to have a producer, an engineer, and an artist that you're working with, a vocalist. Could be a vocalist, a rapper, whatever the case may be. So I then got to notice that, you know, like energy is an important thing. Just like how I was actually answering the question for my project and how it came about, I actually noticed like energy is such an important thing. But I just gravitated towards her, like, and we created more music than I would have said created with everybody else, because the vibes were just like there, like, you know. And even her as a person, like I could learn, like I was learning a lot from her, the conversations we're having. She's a very motivational person also as well, very positive as well. So I think she speaks to me also as well, you know what I'm saying? So even before the music, like it was a get-go. So I feel like the collaboration, because we have another song that we made on a project that's dropping, the collaborations that we made together were just like meant to happen, I feel, so yeah.